Hey there, Trekkers and Trekkies. So, this week, going to look at some McFarlane Toys, which, if you are not familiar, yes, they did make Star Trek toys. So, quick history on that. 2018, Diamond Select was going to be wrapping up their contract for doing action figures for Star Trek with Paramount and McFarlane jumped on getting the contract for that. Or I think Paramount went to McFarlane and asked if they wanted to do it. And there's a lot of controversy on what happened thereafter. Because this was right around the same time Star Trek Discovery had just started. I think they were about halfway through season one, maybe almost done with season one, when McFarlane got the license, and they put out that they were going to do three figures, three or four. I might have to look that up. I can't remember. Somebody posted it in the comments. I know they were going to do a Michael Burnham, and I think they were going to do a Saru from Discovery. I don't quote me on that. I know it was a Michael Burnham, and they were going to make a phaser, a 1-to-1 phaser, and which I thought was actually kind of cool because McFarlane's not really known for doing a lot of life-size 1-to-1 scale stuff. They're mainly figures. You know, back they started off almost 30 years ago, maybe more than that now, making the action figures of Spawn, which is what Todd McFarlane was originally known for. I've got a few of his other figures that I've enjoyed over the years. I don't have any Spawn. I like Spawn, never been a huge fan of it. But I got a few of the other figures, especially the dragons that they did back in the 2000s. But the other two figures that they announced for Star Trek in 2018 was Captain Kirk and Captain Picard. And they got those out. They were about $20 each. And then nothing ever happened. They never put out the Burnham figure. They never put out the phaser. Which the phaser, from everything I understood, at the Toy Fair that year, there was the phaser was one of the things that went over really well at Toy Fair, and then here it was, a year, 2 years had passed, and it still hadn't come out, and COVID started, and then finally McFarlane announced that they were no longer going to be doing any more Star Trek figures, so we were stuck with just the two. And now, they are expensive. I got very lucky. I got both of them for $20, so about $10 a piece. I am missing one hand on each of them. They each came with one extra hand, which we will look at as we're going through. And I don't have Kirk's phaser rifle, and I don't have Picard's Resican flute, which to me seems like, especially when we get to looking at these, you're going to see how small the stuff that they came with is already. And the flute would have been minuscule. But, so let's look first at Captain Picard. Or Captain Kirk. I know what I'm saying. I just, the guy in the yellow shirt on the table there. So, real quick, just for everyone, they say it on the box, but just so you can confirm it yourself and see there, he is roughly 7 inches tall. I do have the phaser, which he holds wonderfully. I do like the sculpt of that hand. And I've got the communicator, also really great. Now, the thing that, first of all, the sculpt. I know my camera is crap. And I keep trying to get more light over here. There we go. Maybe that'll help. The sculpt on these is amazing. I really do. And there's even a micro texture on everything on the shirt that makes it look more like cloth. On the skin, to where there's this sort of a like pores of the skin and that kind of thing. It's really, really impressive. But of course, the thing that McFarlane was known for as soon as they started doing figures back in the day was the sheer amount of articulation that they put into figures. So you've got the typical head turning, it can of course go all the way around. Got a little bit of up and down movement, not a whole lot. In the arms, it has ball so that it can go all the way around and up and down. Same thing in the elbow. And then the wrist do 360 degree spin. The legs, I'm going to start from the bottom. So the foot, it has a little bit of movement here. He can kind of tap his toe. And it does turn 360 degrees that way. The knee, which, interesting enough, the knee, it kind of has these little rivets to where it like clicks into place as you move it. And it doesn't go quite as far. It bends back about like that, and you can get him into a good sitting position. What's really interesting on these is the hip joints. So obviously you can see the hips do go forwards and backwards. It goes backwards quite a ways. We can get a good stance on that. Only people who watch Sunny in Philadelphia are going to get that at all. But what's really kind of strange and weird, I don't know if you can see this little piece right here, this joint, where his leg can do this. And it will still turn. So if you wanted to have your Captain Kirk full on doing the splits, just look at that range he's got. He's got a lot of movement in those pants. Of course, it does some things to his backside. So, yes, this is the thing, is obviously, if you got a chair that can fit this scale of figure, he's going to be able to sit far better. I'm trying to see if I've got something here I can use this chunk of silicone to sort of show him sitting from above. So that's kind of what he would look like. This is what he would look like sitting from the side. Doesn't really mean much to you. I'm gonna get rid of that. The last thing I'll say is that the accessories are really fantastic. Again, I am not going to be able to show because if I get too close, it's going to go blurry. But I do love the fact that they can fit in the hands really well, and I don't have to worry about them falling out. Of course, the other hand, it goes completely around the handle of the phaser. So, absolutely no worry about that popping out. So, that is our Captain Kirk. He did come with, both of them came with these stands. Has the typical peg to where you can put that in the heel. And have them stand up and look like that. And just have a nice stand. So, get him out of the way. Next up, Captain Picard. Again, amazing. I will say that something about the eyes on Captain Picard does not look quite right. I mean, it's still obviously Patrick Stewart, but I don't know. It's always looked a little off to me. since I got this a few weeks ago. Again, get the ruler there. You can see he's actually a little over 7 inches. That's about 7 and a couple of millimeters there. Just past 7. So that's cool to know. He's actually just a little bit taller, which I think is accurate. I don't remember if Patrick Stewart... Obviously, he must be a little bit taller than Shatner. But, again, now what's interesting is that they actually... a lot of people don't know this. And, of course, they know in the 3rd season that they changed the uniforms to the style with the box collar up here. But they did change some other things in the chest piece, including where it has these lines here on the front, when they were trying to get the fit to be a little more snug and in the chest and that kind of thing, but still have the top be a separate piece and not have to be a single jumpsuit. But about halfway through season 3, they figured out a different way to make the chest piece of the jacket so that it didn't need those pleats on the front. So this particular uniform design is only about 10 or so episodes before they actually fixed it so that it didn't have those lines running across the chest. And I mean, you can look it up. You watch season 3, start watching in the first episode of season 3, you'll see those lines, and you'll see that they're on Geordi's uniform and Riker and Data and everybody. And it's kind of funny because Picard is the first one that they come off of, which makes me wonder if it had to do with something with Patrick Stewart wanting more adjustments done to the uniform. But his is the first one to change, and Riker's. I think that you can see both of theirs change to the flat look all the way across in the same episode. And then, like, the next episode, you notice that Data's has got the seams here anymore. A couple of more episodes later, Geordi gets it, and then Worf, and it's really funny to watch their uniforms just gradually morph through that middle part of season 3. But anyways, he does have all the same articulation. This hand looks like it was really made for holding a teacup. It would have been great if it had come with a teacup, but it didn't. It came with a phaser, which here's another strange thing, is that they made, it's not the Cobra phaser that was used from season 3. Well, I think it was season 2 through 7. This is the phaser that was used in Star Trek First Contact and Voyager. This was the one that was used in those shows. So technically you never would have seen him holding that phaser that just fell to the floor. I'll get it later. While wearing this particular uniform. But that's nitpicking. That's just being silly. Again, he's got that same crotch thing going on that is so bizarre. But, again, legs can do quite a bit. Now, of course, because the pants on these figures are made where they come down further and have the little slit, these boots don't move up and down or side to side nearly as much as Kirk's, but that's okay. Because he wouldn't have needed that necessarily for much of what you're going to do with him. So he's kind of being introspective and thinking about the Borg. So, like I said, also came with exact same base as Kirk. So, there they are. The McFarlane Star Trek figures that were made in 2018, and that was it. McFarlane said they were done, apparently. Which is unfortunate, because they're really good. I would have loved to have seen more figures. It would have been cool if they'd done, Data and Spock and Uhura. Would have been a cool one to see how they did that. But, oh well. Maybe someday he'll decide to get it back and finish the line. But, anyways, that is it for this video. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. If you enjoy my videos and want to see more, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Also, you can support the show by signing up on Patreon, or head over to Zazzle to pick up prints of my artwork, prints on canvas, t-shirts, and other merch. You can find me on social media. For more information and updates on the channel, all info is below. If you didn't enjoy the video, why are you still here? Do you want a song? Ba, ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Yes, them, 3 bags full. One for the master who can screw himself. You can listen to somebody else.